Okay, this continues on at step 4 of the Assign a Static IP Address Lab. If you're like me, you may have delayed a while before continuing on, and if you did, you may have to re-log into the Lubuntu machine. The password is what's shown, isadmin01, and then the actual password is capital A D I N P capital P A S S. It's in the instructions. Capital A admin capital P pass. Of course, that's a terrible password for any production use, but it's fine for a lab. Now that we have this device open, the first thing we're going to do is connect to the controlling interface for this router. So we're going to go from this machine and tell it to talk to this machine and do some changes to the setup for the router firewall. We're going to do that using a browser. So we click on this little symbol down here and then go to Internet and go to Firefox web browser. You may have heard of Firefox. Within Firefox then, we're going to tell it to go to 10.0.1.1. You may remember that that is the IP address from the other machine. In fact, it shows it right here as the interface, EM1 interface for the LAN segment. Hit enter to tell it to open it. Now we're going to open up this interface. The pfSense router has a web server built into it, and we're using the default username and password. Again, this is a terrible idea in any real system, but okay for a lab. So it's admin and it's pfSense, just like it's spelled up here to log in. We click sign in, save or don't save the password, not too important. Now, depending on how much messing around you've been doing, it may or may not come right to this screen. You can easily click on this. We call this a hamburger menu. And if we click on that and go to status and go to dashboard, then that takes us to this. You may notice it even complains about the password. It says you're using the default password, and that's really not a good idea at all. And they are right, except for in a lab. If we look down at the bottom here, we can see that it also lists the interfaces supported by this router. And you can see that it shows these two numbers, which do line up with these two numbers. Now on to step 5. For step 5, we're really going to do something interesting. We're going to configure DNS for this network segment. So first we go up here, we click on the hamburger menu again, and we go to services, and then we're going to go to the DHCP server. You notice it says for LAN. LAN is our OfficeNet segment. That's the segment we want to be working on. You want to make sure that DHCP is enabled, and you can see that it is checked. That's good. And then we're going to put in a range for the DHCP server to use for dynamic assignment of IP addresses. We're going to change what it has here from 10.0.1.3 to 10.0. Oh, it's not letting me click in it. Oh, it did. It just went slow. 10.0.1.99. So that means that if a device is going to ask this service for an IP address, it will assign one between 10.0.1.3 and 10.0.1.99. Go down here to the bottom of the page. We'll see this save almost at the bottom, and we're going to click save. You may notice it says they have been applied successfully. Go back down to the bottom again. We're going to now assign what's called a static mapping. What that means is whenever this Lubuntu machine connects, we don't want it to get a number from the pool. We want it to get a special number that's assigned for its MAC address. So we're going to say add, then we're going to use this copy my MAC address thing. You may recognize this number from when we did connection information. This is the MAC address assigned to the virtual network card in this Lubuntu machine. And that's the machine we want to control the IP address for. Of course, we could put lots of other things in, but we're going to put in an IP address, and we want it to always assign 10.0.1.101. It doesn't really matter the number, except you'll notice that it's not between 3 and 99, which is the DHCP pool. This will be a static one that's outside the range that any old machine attaching to this network segment can get. Go back down to the bottom, click Save again. And then in addition, we have to do this. The static mapping has been changed, so we must click this for the changes to be applied. And there you go. You may happen to note over here that when we attached using this device, the router logged that we did log into it from here. Okay, so that's actually step 5. And I'll go ahead and finish up with step 6. And to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to restart this machine. So sometimes it's tricky with that little icon there to get to the X to close Firefox. Here, I can drag it down. There, we got it. Okay, so the easiest way to do that is to click on this little power button right down here and then tell it to reboot. This would be the equivalent of doing restart on your laptop or any other device. The virtual machine closes down, restarts. Now, if everything works right, what did we do? Well, this time, when this machine starts up on the network and asks for an IP address, it should get the special static address we assigned instead of getting the original one. Okay, it started up. Now we're going to go down here to this connection thing again, got a connection icon. And we're going to look at the connection information. And you'll see that it has the same MAC address. That's usually hard burned into the network interface card, the physical device in the machine. But now we have the device, the IP address assigned for this device as 10.0.1.101. Okay, so that you've now completed the steps of the lab. Again, I highly encourage you to read through the assignment because there's lots of good information there to help you put this all in context. But we wrapped up the assigning a static IP address lab. Bye-bye.